Hey there, everybody. Hope everybody's having a fantastic Friday. We are finally here. Starting to get some reports of some potential winter weather across Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. Don't got a lot of time. We're in between newscasts right now. We got another newscast coming up on KXNW at 7 o'clock. So let's go ahead and get right to it right now here in this latest video live. Let's get right to Mega Doppler right now and get you caught up on the latest. So, again, Mega Doppler shows just the reflectivity in terms of the precipitation. And so you see these greens on here. That doesn't necessarily mean it's rain at this time, though I do think most of what's falling right now in the River Valley is just rain at this time. But we're starting to get some reports of precipitation right now in southern Washington County, hearing some sleet pellet reports near Winslow. We also got a flurry report from Colby Ward in Fayetteville, very, very light flurries at this time. And that's kind of what we're expecting with this system. It's not going to be a widespread winter weather maker, nothing that's going to be major, but enough that we do have to talk about it, and enough that that could definitely impact you if you're heading out to high school football tonight. Friday Night Lights. I know we're starting to get towards the end of the season, playoffs getting rolling. So again, if you're heading out to some of these games tonight, you could be impacted by some of this weather. Again, most of this, again, is not going to be very strong. It's not going to be on the roadways. But, again, we could see a dusting, maybe a half-inch of snow in eastern portions of the coverage area, especially near Jasper and Harrison, where the higher elevations of our coverage area are in at this time. But, again, most of this is not reaching the ground, and there's a reason for that. And if you have been here in Northwest Arkansas for a while, you probably know why that is. It's because we don't have enough moisture right now. Notice that we have dew points in the middle 20s here in NWA, dew points in the lower 30s in the River Valley, which is why we're seeing a little bit more in the way of precipitation at this time. But as this system moves through, we are going to start seeing those dew points go up just a little bit, and that will allow for this precipitation to reach the ground. So let's take a look at satellite and radar right now, because you can see that system, which is beginning to move towards the northeast. You're starting to see some precipitation show up in the River Valley, as I said before, and a little bit more in Northwest Arkansas. And of course, again, it's not going to be very widespread, but it's something to note because it is our first winter weather maker of the year. And of course, this is something that we don't usually see this time of year in Northwest Arkansas. So these snow showers will begin to move to the northeast into the overnight hours tonight, probably around 10:30, 11 o'clock. I think it'll be all snow here in Northwest Arkansas, and then mostly rain in the River Valley, though we could have a little bit of snow as well in Fort Smith area if we can get a little bit colder. So there's a system right there. It's a very subtle piece of energy that's moving through. That's going to kind of bump up that moisture return here in the area. Now you can see this big time dip in the jet stream. Man, it is really cold out there. In fact, I want to show you this one map in just a minute, but it's hard to believe that last week we had temperatures in the 80s. We had severe thunderstorms. We had all that crazy weather. And now we had that big cold front move through last night, and we're seeing all this cold weather just kind of hit us all at once. It is really just Northwest Arkansas personified. I really can't say anything else other than that. But this is a really cold pattern we're getting into, folks. And as you'll see in just a minute, if you stick around, we could have a bigger winter weather maker come through next week. So I'll tell you about that in just a little bit. But let's go ahead and get to future track right now. This is the HRRR model. And yeah, I mean, it's overdoing it a little bit as it typically does, but you could see the potential for snow showers, especially between 7 o'clock and midnight tonight in Northwest Arkansas. Could have a mix in the River Valley as well. And it's going to move out pretty quick. 1:30, it's already moving out of Northwest Arkansas. Harrison and Jasper, you can still see some snowflakes. And then after that, it's completely out of the area. But look how cold it is during that Razorback game. Woo! If you're going to that Razorback game tomorrow, you better bundle up. And I'm going to be out there too. And I'll tell you this, I got to do the 6 o'clock news tomorrow. Don't be surprised if I've got a red nose, I've got chapped lips, my face is pale. It's going to be cold tomorrow. And we're also going to see those northerly winds at about 5 to 20 miles per hour. So please, if you're going to that Razorback game, get your warm weather stuff on because it's going to be very cold out there. What are we talking about in terms of accumulation? Not that much, upwards of a dusting at most in most locations here in Northwest Arkansas. Could see a half inch in higher elevations, but that may be pushing it just a little bit. Again, this is not a big time winter weather maker. It never was supposed to be. But it's just noteworthy because we usually don't see stuff this early across the area. So definitely a cool little pattern that we're in right now. And let me tell you, it's going to get even colder as we move throughout the next several days. Taking a look right now at the Bentonville Square Toyland going on. We had our very own Alex Engel out there, and man, it did look cold out there. Let's see what the updated temperatures are. 39 degrees at the Bentonville Airport. But look at that dew point sitting at 25, like I mentioned earlier. That's the reason why a lot of this precipitation is not reaching the ground yet. But that will get bumped up. Northerly wind at about 14 miles per hour. I hope everybody that's out there is dressed in their warm weather stuff. Let's take a look at the temperatures across the area. Sitting at 38 in Rogers, so definitely cold, getting colder there. 41 in Fayetteville. Southeastern portions of Washington County reporting some sleet and snow. No surprise there. All right. What about the system early next week? I wanted to give you guys an update on this because, again, tremendous amount of uncertainty remains on this. And I wanted to kind of show you two different scenarios that we're looking at in terms of the evolution of the system because there's a lot of that can change over the next several days. And I want to tell you guys what we may be looking at with the system. So let's go ahead and look at this. I know there's a lot going on this map, and I want to stop it because this is a system right here that we're looking at. Right there, just to the southwest of Portland, is our next winter weather maker. And as you'll see here, it's going to dive to the southeast, and it's going to get pretty far southeast. Most of the models agree on this. Look at that, all the way in southwest Arizona by the time we get to Monday early morning. But as it ejects to the northeast, it goes too far north, at least according to this model, right? I'm going to show you a different model in just a minute, but at least according to this model, if that's the way the system evolves, if that system is a little bit further to the north like that, we're not going to get a lot of winter weather with this. I'm just saying it right now. If that's how the system evolves and we see this low pressure system move to the north, if it kind of ejects to the northeast like that, it's not happening. It's not happening. We may get a few snowflakes on that back end of the system, but we're not going to see anything major if the European model is correct. The European model has been showing this solution pretty much the last several days. It has not budged on it, though it has bumped up the snowfall totals a little bit. I do think regardless, we're going to see winter weather. That's one way this could evolve. Look at this, though. This is the GFS model. Watch how this system, as it moves in, rides right along the Red River. If you were in that Facebook Live the other day with Dan, he called this a Red River rider. This is how we get winter weather here in Northwest Arkansas, right? I also want to point out, if you look just a little bit further to the north, and I can't put my pointer on here, unfortunately. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this. I'm going to shrink it just a little bit. Then I can put my pointer so you can see this. Do you see this little sort of area of energy to the north that's moving in? This is going to be the key to if we get snow or not, right? If this area to the north, this secondary system ejects to the south and emerges with the low pressure system that we're going to see next Monday, we're going to get enough cold air to where we can get some winter weather here in Northwest Arkansas. How much? That's certainly up for debate right now. I don't think we're going to see a whole lot with this system, but it's noteworthy because it's November. We usually don't get things like this. And I'll tell you what, if this system was in December or in January and we had that really cold winter weather, this would have been a major winter storm. No doubt about it. But as it stands now, watch the evolution of the system as it moves to the east. And it rides the Red River for a very long time as we go throughout Monday evening into the overnight hours, and then ejects to the northeast Tuesday morning. That would bring snow to the area. That would bring snow to Northwest Arkansas. That would bring a wintry mix to the River Valley. All right? That's the GFS model. Similar deal with the European. Remember how the European model, I said that it was consistently showing not a whole lot. GFS has been completely opposite. It's shown snow with each model run. Who's going to win? I'll tell you what, we're going to find out probably within the next couple of days because now the higher resolution models are starting to come in. Still a lot of uncertainty with those, as there usually is this far out. But for now, we've got winter weather still in the forecast for next Monday night to Tuesday. I think regardless, we're going to see some form of winter weather. how much, that's still up for debate. So let's go ahead and look at the GFS model first because it's the more aggressive of it. And I know a lot of snow lovers potentially out there. I know Sally right here wants a blizzard. Sally, not going to get it with this system. But, here's an interesting fact, by the way, Sally. Northwest Arkansas has never been under a blizzard warning. Believe it or not, National Weather Service of Tulsa has never issued a blizzard warning for Northwest Arkansas. National Weather Service in Little Rock has issued blizzard warnings for Central Arkansas and Northeast Arkansas before. So this area of the state, which typically gets more snow, which typically gets more winter weather, never been under a blizzard warning, but Central and Northeast Arkansas has. So we would have to defy all odds to get a blizzard, but never say never, really, when it comes to the weather here in Northwest Arkansas. So let's go ahead and time this out on GFS model, right? Here comes the system moving through Monday afternoon into the evening hours. Here's something interesting that we want to watch with this system. The models even the European model is showing a later arriving system, right? So if the system arrives a little bit later and the winds shift to the northeast, then we could see some cold weather and see potentially more snow accumulation. Mark, I'm going to warn you on this. With the ground is too warm for major accumulation. You're correct. The ground will be pretty warm, though. We're going to see a lot of cold weather over the next several days. Here's what I caution when saying that. The precipitation rates are going to be pretty high with this system. I think we're going to see a very heavy, wet snow if we do get winter weather, right? So if that happens, that can overcome colder ground temperatures. So yes, the ground is going to be a little bit warmer, but heavier precipitation rates can overcome that. So again, there's so much uncertainty with this system, and really this is a very challenging forecast. But let's go ahead and continue to time that out here. Again, the snowfall in the overnight hours, Monday night, Tuesday morning, a few lingering snow showers that moves out of the area. Cool, right? So we're expecting snow. As Lee Corso would say, not so fast, my friends, because look at the European model. Doesn't show a whole lot of anything. Maybe a few sleet pellets mixing in Tuesday morning. Rain snow mixture Tuesday around 3 o'clock. And then it moves out of the area by Tuesday afternoon into the evening hours. Remember, we looked at that vorticity map. That's not going to get it done here in Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley in terms of having significant winter weather. Do I think this will be a significant winter storm? I don't think so. I'm not buying that. Kind of like Mark said, I think it's going to be too warm, first of all. We may see temperatures above freezing while this precipitation is falling. Still could stick. If the precipitation rates are heavy enough, you could still see stuff stick. But as of right now, again, we haven't seen the higher resolution models yet. I'm really being careful with my wording here because I'm going to be honest. This is my first time I've ever, been in this seat forecasting winter weather with Dan. So this is a new experience for me. Of course, I have done it before off air and things like that. But forecasting winter weather in Northwest Arkansas is very challenging, y'all. So as the higher resolution models come out over the next couple of days, we're going to see more agreement with them. We're going to start getting a better picture of what exactly is going to happen. And then we'll be able to get those details out, get those details fine-tuned. I want to show this model real quick. This is a NAM model. This one's a little bit more high-res. It goes out 84 hours. And if you notice here, this only goes out to Monday evening, but it does show snow for Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. It also shows much colder temperatures. What does that mean? Not much right now because it's 84 hours out. It's also the NAM, which I don't think is the best model, as a cold air bias at times. In fact, the NAM had us in the mid to upper 30s this afternoon yesterday, and we ended up being in the low to mid 40s. So it does have a cold air bias. Keep that in mind, but something that we're going to be looking at. This is an example of a model that we're going to start looking more at as we get closer to the event. All right. Tom, we're expecting snow tonight. We're already getting some reports of some snow and sleet right now. Sean says that they're sleeting on 412 East between Marble and Alpena. I want to see if we're getting any more reports right now for Northwest Arkansas. Let's see. I want to see, is anybody else getting reports of sleet or snow? I want to see that in the comments. for sure. It's snowing in OKC. Not surprised to hear that because the dew points increased with that system moving through. That energy came through, and now it's hitting the ground in OKC. Um, how's I-35 from Joplin to MN looking? Um, Joplin looking good right now. I don't. Again, the precipitation tonight's not going to be very significant. Most locations are not going to see accumulation, and if there is accumulation, there'll be a dusting to a half inch. Roadways are going to be just wet. I don't expect any accumulation on the roadways. I want to see if we're getting any more reports here of some snow. I'm going up right now. Sally, not yet. Still got the system moving through. I'm not seeing any other. Now, Colby Ward was okay. Sleeping Kingston right now. Okay, I'm not surprised to hear that. Colby Ward, who is in Fayetteville, said that there is some light snow flurries that he was seeing at his house or on his way through Fayetteville. So, again, starting to see more reports of some snow and sleet this evening. We'll continue to see that as we go throughout the rest of the overnight hours as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at that 7-day forecast because we do have a lot of updates to it. So here's what I did. Yesterday, if you remember, we had a 40% chance of precipitation here in Northwest Arkansas for Monday. The reason why is because of the uncertainty that we had. I bumped it up to 70%. I think we will see precipitation with this system. I still have a lot of uncertainty on how much it's going to fall, what the precipitation type is going to be, and the influence of the system that is north of the low pressure that's moving through our area and how cold it will get. All right. So as of now, 70% chance of a wintry mix Monday transitioning to snow Monday overnight to Tuesday morning. After that, we clear out pretty quickly. High temperatures back in the mid to upper 30s for Tuesday and Wednesday, lower to mid 40s Thursday into Friday. There is some indication we may see another system late next week. We're going to take it one at a time right now. Monday and Tuesday, we've got all eyes on that. River Valley, a little bit more confidence, I think, in precipitation type. I'm gonna say it's going to start off as a cold rain in the River Valley and then transition to a wintry mix into the overnight hours. So again, a lot of uncertainty right now. Mark, it's so hard to really get a good handle on snow, dendritic growth rates because we don't get local soundings. And that's true. You know, when we have to go to BuffKit and we look at the soundings, and we're getting a little nerdy now, it is really hard to look at everything because we don't get those local soundings. So we're getting soundings from a little bit further south and north, and those are not an accurate representation of what we're seeing. I'll tell you one thing. If we're going to get really nerdy, Mark, the thermal profiles with this system, in my opinion, are not very impressive for snow. And that just means that when you're going up through the atmosphere right now for that system, not right now, but as we get into early next week, I don't think it is favorable for a widespread heavy snow event. There is still the potential, though, for that to happen. But even when I go to the GFS, the thermal profiles are not great. So it's hard to get good profiles this time of year here in Northwest Arkansas in the River Valley. That's why if this system was arriving in December, we would have probably seen a little bit more in the way of winter precipitation. So let's go ahead and look at Mega Doppler one more time, just to get you an update on what the radar is looking like. Again, you can see there we're starting to see a little bit more of a heavier band moving through southern Washington County, where we're getting those sleet reports. We were getting some reports of flurries and near Fayetteville by some folks. Kingston was getting some reports of sleet. River Valley, mostly rain at this current time, but that could certainly change. But here's that piece of energy moving in from the east near Oklahoma City, where we're getting reports of snow in Oklahoma City. Once that pushes to the northeast, that's going to allow most of this to reach the ground, and then we'll start seeing some snow flurries, maybe some snow showers in the higher terrain of Northwest Arkansas right around 10, 11 o'clock tonight, and then it will all move out in the overnight hours. So if anybody else has any other questions, I'll be happy to answer them. Been a very busy night, been a very busy week, really. All gas, no brakes. Last week, severe weather. This week, looking at the winter weather potential next week. So we'll continue to monitor that as we move throughout the next several days. I'll have another Facebook Live tomorrow. And yes, Mark, that is why the European is showing more rain. And, I'll say this. European's got a warm bias. GFS has got a cold bias. I think both models haven't a clue at what's going to happen early next week, which is really the reason why I am waiting till those higher resolution models come out to really make have a good gauge on what's going to happen. I think it's going to be somewhere in between. I think we're going to see probably most of this start off as rain Monday evening, then transition to a wintry mix, and then maybe transition to some snow Monday overnight if we still got some precipitation lingering around. Accumulations, we'll touch on that maybe tomorrow once we get those higher res models in. But right now, we're about to start the 7 o'clock news, so I'm going to go ahead and end this Facebook Live. Thanks, everybody, for coming out. Make sure you send us any of those sleet or snow reports at RugsWX or at WeatherDan. Definitely want to see that and see if there's precipitation is reaching the ground. But I've got to get ready for the 7 o'clock news. Have a great rest of your evening, everybody. God bless, and we'll talk to you tomorrow evening. Have a good one, sir. Or have a good one, everybody.